76. I saw two bright lights, 11 o'clock, seem to bank over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective.
It was a nice, quiet Friday morning on the 9th of November 2018. That was until a number of airline pilots saw strange glowing lights near their aircraft travelling at astronomical speeds. The first report came from a British Airways pilot who was travelling from Canada to Heathrow, who initially asked air traffic control at the nearby Shannon Airport if there were any military exercises in the area. This was confirmed that there wasn't. This pilot then reported seeing these strange lights near to her aircraft. Other airline pilots in the area and then came onto the frequency reporting the same thing. What were they? Were they something alien? Or is it something more mundane? I'm going to take a look at a possible video of this sighting, as well as listen to the conversation between the pilots and the air traffic control. This incident was picked up by the Irish media, making the papers over the next couple of days. It then got picked up in the UK. All the mainstream media did a report on this sighting, and eventually it's picked up by the US media across the Atlantic. Obviously a couple of days later, as it always happens with these incidents, they disappear from the media because more important things take priority. The UFO industry has always had a bit of a mixed relationship with the mainstream media, who historically have seen it more of a bit of a joke, clickbait headlines, little green men from Mars and things like that, with no actual journalism or follow-ups into when they report these incidents. It has been a cultural shift, I think, over the past couple of years, and with the recent release of that press release from the US government basically confirming that UFOs exist and that those Navy Tic Tac videos are real, going forward that will hopefully see a change in the attitudes, and we will see some actual proper journalism and follow-ups in the mainstream media. Now let's just take a listen to the conversation between the pilots and the air traffic control at Shannon Airport.
Shannon Virgin 76 X-ray, flight level 360.
76 X-ray Shannon, hello, radar contact.
Shannon Ryder 45 Fox Hotel. Any turbulence reports this morning?
Negative, sir, not along your route.
Great, thank you.
Shannon 394.
Go ahead.
Is there any military traffic you got right now?
There's nothing showing on either primary or secondary.
Okay, it was moving so fast, in fact you can no longer see it, but yes, thank you.
Alongside you?
Get to come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north. Being so bright light and then it just disappeared at a very high speed. We were just wondering. We didn't think it was a likely collision course, we were just wondering what that could have been.
The Virgin 76 also saw that in our 11 o'clock position, two bright lights.
Say again?
Virgin 76. I saw two bright lights, 11 o'clock, seem to bank over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective.
Okay, we're passing that on there, thank you.
Meteor or another object making some kind of re-entry. Appeared to be multiple objects following the same sort of trajectory. Very bright from where we were.
Okay, that's copied.
Glad it wasn't just me.
No, yeah, very interesting, that one.
Speedbird 94 Shannon.
94, go ahead.
Okay, just so you know that other aircraft in the air have also reported the same thing, so we're going to have a look and see.
The speed was astronomical, it's like Mach 2 or something.
Roger, okay, thank you.
So, some very interesting audio there, I think you'll agree. The first thing I want to mention is the number of aircraft involved. From listening to this transcript, there are at least 3 different aircraft talking to air traffic control about this incident. If we look at the Virgin Airlines pilot, he's talking on a different frequency, and he appears to be responding to a third aircraft, who then replies to the Virgin flight with, "Glad it wasn't just me." This is then communicated back to the British Airways Flight 94, who we hear as the original reporting airline. Let's just take another listen to the Virgin Atlantic.
The Virgin 76 also saw that in our 11 o'clock position, two bright lights.
Say again?
Virgin 76, I saw two bright lights, 11 o'clock, seem to back over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective.
Where we were.
Okay, that's copied.
Glad it wasn't just me.
No, yeah, very interesting, that one.
As we can hear, there are at least 3 different aircraft and multiple highly trained pilots that seen these objects and reported to air traffic control. Unbeknownst to these pilots and air traffic controllers, down on the ground, a citizen by the name of Sandy Laverty was making her usual commute to work in Coleraine when her car's dash cam caught this video. So let's just watch that again and slow it down a little bit. What you can see is 2 bright lights. They are pretty high up and seem to be travelling at some speed, as you see them pass behind the tree line as well. I do have to point out that Coleraine is around 190 miles away from Shannon Airport, up in Northern Ireland, and that these could not be related at all, but we cannot ignore the fact that these were recorded at the exact same time as the pilots reported seeing them in their airspace. And it's hard to tell how fast something is going, how far away they are, how big they are, when they're up high in the night sky. So, what are these objects? As one of the pilots from the Virgin Atlantic flight mentioned, it could be a meteor or other space object making re-entry. So, let's take a look at the meteor aspect. First of all, let's ask, what is a meteor? A meteor is actually one of a number of classifications for a rock that comes from space. Small rocks or particles that orbit the sun are known as meteoroids. Larger bodies of rock are classified as an asteroid. So that's when they're out in space. When these meteoroids or asteroids enter our Earth's atmosphere, they usually vaporise in a trail of fiery light. This is very common. This is then when they become classified as a meteor, or as more commonly known as a shooting star. If this rock survives its journey through the atmosphere and actually lands or hits the Earth's surface, it is now known as a meteoroid. As in, you could physically go and pick it up. There's some of these in museums and places like that. A falling star is how meteorologist David Paul spontaneously called a meteor when the live stream of the KHOU news station in Texas, when it caught this meteor on its live stream camera.
Really something out there this evening. It's a special full moon tonight. Oh my goodness, look at that. We just caught ourselves a falling star. Make a wish. Make a wish.
A quick YouTube search finds a number of videos of dashcam footage of meteors, including this one taken near to Port Elizabeth Airport in South Africa in August 2019. The footage isn't great quality, and that can be the case for a lot of these images because it's dark, it's night, and dashcams aren't that great at filming these objects in the sky. So, were these objects just simply a meteor or other space objects burning up as they enter our atmosphere? According to the Times newspaper in the UK, the head of Astronomy Ireland, David Moore, is 1000% sure that these are just meteors. But before we come to the same conclusion, I just wanted to revisit the audio transcript between the pilots and the air traffic controller at Shannon Airport, and just take another listen to what the pilots who saw it actually said.
Okay, it was moving so fast, in fact, you can no longer see it, but yes, thank you.
Alongside you.
Get to come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north. Being so bright light and then it just disappeared at a very high speed. We were just wondering. Come up on our left-hand side and then rapidly veer to the north. Being so bright.
I saw two bright lights, 11 o'clock, seem to back over to the right and then climb away at speed, at least from our perspective. Seem to back over to the right and then climb away at...
Let's remember that these are highly trained and professional pilots who are used to seeing all sorts of different objects and anomalies in the sky. Two of these pilots who saw the objects with their own eyes reported that the objects made at least one manoeuvre, with one described as veering to the north and the other describing the object as banking. These are not movements that a meteor would usually make when it's burning up in the atmosphere. So if it's not a meteor, what else could it be? There's no military exercises in the area, so unless there's something covert going on at the time, some sort of secret training or exercise going on, we can rule that out as well. One more paranormal explanation could be ball lightning. These are very rare atmospheric happenings that are usually caused by thunderstorms. They have been described as being luminescent, bright balls of light that can travel erratically and at some speed. As I said, these usually occur during thunderstorms, and the weather on that day was overcast but dry. The description of the movements could possibly match with ball lightning. However, scientists aren't even convinced that they even exist. However, there have been reports going back for hundreds of years of these strange phenomenon. So the movements do match, but it is unlikely, but I'm going to keep this as a maybe. Drones are another option. They have risen in popularity over the past 5 or 6 years and have also been a reason for an increase in UFO reports and the nuisance to airports. However, even small drones show up on radar, so the air traffic controller would have picked them up if they were nearby these planes. And also, to our knowledge of technology, they cannot travel at the speeds described by the pilots, so I'm going to rule this as a no for this incident. So far, I've been unable to find any official explanation or results of any investigation made. I've made attempts to correspond with both the Irish Air Authority and the Irish Department of Defence, but neither have been forthcoming with any information. So where does that leave us? Aside from witness testimony, these audio transcripts and some fuzzy dashcam recording, there's no evidence to be able to say with any certainty what this actually is. For me, this remains unidentified. I do not believe it is a meteor due to the descriptions made by the pilots. So I'm just going to leave it at that for me. You can make your own decisions. Let me know in the comments what you think this was. Thank you all for watching this video. I want to thank Planet Mercury for providing the music for this video. Check them out on Spotify, that's Planet Mercury. And Shaken Out of This Town for these cool UFO and pop punk themed t-shirts and other clothing. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and I'll be back very soon with more.